Okay, guys, as I said, I'm going to be doing an update on, well, not an update, more of a past telling of how I became a fan fiction writer. That's really bad to say on the internet nowadays. Mostly because really bad fan fiction exists nowadays. I mean, nowadays, like, way back in freaking, I'm sorry I made this up for whoever wrote this and probably still alive to this day. The My Immortal thing. If people don't realize there was a My Immortal movement on the internet a while ago, I think like early 2005-ish. Um, I hope the person who wrote that kinda, never went on to something serious. Okay, basically, I have to explain this before I explain my backstory. Basically, My Immortal, it was a very, very mature version of Harry Potter. And when I mean Harry Potter, I mean one female's academic of fan fiction for emos that would be in Hogwarts from Harry Potter. I don't want to say emo. I honestly don't. Because I know emo people, I know gothic people. They're kind of two the same because one just believes in other. Well, one believes in like certain other things than the other does. It's a long, convoluted topic. Really, it's really fun to talk about sometimes though, but not now. I wouldn't say emo or gothic. I would say mostly self-inflictors. And it's just like, you don't understand teens and pressure, and you don't understand this. I'm like, yeah, I do actually. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how many times I contemplated doing certain things. And not just, the obvious. I mean, a lot of other things that people who still know me personally barely know I thought about. So I like never really indulged in that kind of conversation where it's like, oh, I'm so depressed, and like, yeah, there were times where I was like super lonely and depressed, and I had nothing but my video games around me. But that's how I got through most of my childhood. It's horrible to say, but that's honestly true. That's how I got through a majority of my childhood by video games, via video games. Why I'm a Let's Player now because I never had a social life, and when I did have a social life, I never really got along with a lot of other kids. And like nowadays, I get along with practically everyone. Like I try to at very least get along with everyone. But no, there was a time in my life where I was like a social outcast. Actually, in my local area, I still am a social outcast. Mostly because like you go knocking on someone's door and it's like, hey, I remember you. You remember me? And it's like, nope. Slam the door right in your face. I'm like, yeah, that's understandable. I'm a fairly forgettable person. Um, no, but yeah, it's a little silly how my crave started way back when I was extremely young. Because let's admit something right now. The first ever anime I think I watched was probably Dragon Ball Z. I didn't watch. I think I watched like the end of Dragon Ball 1, but I never really cared for it. I was just like, yeah, it's okay. It's martial arts. And then Dragon Ball Z came around. When I was like maybe, well, how old was I? 11, I want to say. I was rather 11 or 7 or something. So I was like, holy damn, this is the bomb basically. I was just like, hot diggity damn, and I'm like, why past me say hot diggity damn? I watched a lot of Disney stuff growing up. I also watched a lot of Winnie the Pooh and etc. So, case in point, why a lot of people go like, oh, Kingdom Hearts is so childish. I'm like, that's kind of the point. Um, yeah, but, I started off with the N64, blah, blah, blah. I started with a lot of different stuff growing up, and I'm still growing as it is. Like, I'm still playing my games and loving it. So yeah, I just want to go over that. Yeah, but I think how it started was I think I saw a Pokemon episode and I didn't like how the ending was, like to the to be continued thing. So actually no, I started watching Pokemon, didn't I? I don't remember what anime I used to watch, but the first like action-packed anime I watched was Dragon Ball Z for sure. Um, so I don't think I liked the ending to Dragon Ball Z or something, so I rewrote it in my special way. So like it was kind of cool. It was a little experimental phase, and then as I got older, I'm like, you know what, this is really popular nowadays. This sounds pretty cool. So case in point, I haven't seen the ending of Nisekoi or like any romance genre. Well, I've seen a lot of romance anime. I've finished a lot of them, but I can't say a lot of them are done badly in my opinion. But that's more like straight up romance, and like they never really have multiple choices. Like Toradora in a way, but Toradora kinda was like, hey, Taiga and Ryuji. I can't really say anything about Toradora because that was kind of perfect in my aspect of it. And then the new season or OVA or whatever is coming out to North America remotely soon. When I've heard, I'm like, yay, OVA. Um, so going on after that, well, actually no, that's like the thing. That's I started watching Toradora like maybe 2 years ago now. But no, like, I fell out of anime because it wasn't interesting. Because like the last one I saw was Shaman King for action-packed stuff, and I didn't like the ending. So I think that's also another one I wrote the ending for, or like how I thought the ending should be. And like in the English class or like literature class or whatever, you have to write little like book covers and stuff, or not book covers, what you call them, book reviews. So I remember writing a couple book reviews. I also remember like tinkering around with certain things and like making them sound a little more interesting here and there. So honestly, yeah, that started way back in grade six. I want to say because I remember doing my first book report in grade six. And then there was parts and stuff like I really didn't like because I think the first book I ever read for a book report was Call of the Wild. If people don't know what that book is, you should really look into that. It's a really good book actually. Um, and then, like from there on, I just started reading more and more. So I got into manga because manga has pictures and it's not all boring and like dialogue. And I'm not saying books like that are boring sometimes, like Shakura no Shana for a case. That's an entire novel series and it's like it's entirely made for like little kids and stuff, or not little kids, but like teenagers. I read that entire novel in maybe a couple of days. Like it took me about an hour to finish per chapter, but that's honestly like chapters are fairly long as Shakura no Shana. But no, like I don't mind books like that, but I like the comic book styles, art and stuff sometimes, and that's really what catches my eye for most manga. Like one of the manga series I like never hear tell of and like no one brings up is voiceover. It's like what? And it's like yeah, that's a pretty underground manga that I've heard of. Like not everyone knows about it, and it's kind of weird. Now like it's like it's okay-ish. I'm not saying it's like the best thing ever. I'm just saying a lot of people don't seem to know that voiceover, and I'm like oh that's kind of sad. I like that manga. But then you got like anime rip-off, and then well not rip-off, anime adaptations like Is This a Zombie, My Little Sister's Among Them, other great manga series and stuff, Kazuma no Stigma. And yeah, I know a lot of anime and manga. But I wanted to, just talk about like how this came to be. Honestly, mostly because a lot of people expect you to be like, oh, you're a Mr. Popular because like how you look and how you dress, you're all stiff in style. I'm like not even remotely close to what I really am. I am Mr. You give me any set of clothes, I slap them on, I somehow look good, and I don't know how or why. Other than that, yeah, it's kind of like I was an entire social outcast actually for most of my life. I was always that one kid who got picked on, blah blah. And honestly, it's not nice to do, and I really don't recommend bullying because that's just wrong and stupid. But I do like there were some positives that came out of this. Case in point, my craving to do fan fiction, etc. Like actual fan fiction, not like My Immortal. Ugh, that's a different category altogether. I've read way too much fan fiction like that, and I'm just shaking all over. It's disgusting. It's horrible. It should never be posted on the internet. And it's like, what are you, Christian? No, I just have a very awkward taste to what I like to read. Because I read a really good fan fiction a while ago. What was it? I don't remember the name of it at all, but I remember what it was based off of. It was based off My Little Sisters Among Them. And like, it was an entirely different story too. Like it was also just, probably a kid who was like, I can make this better. And like to a certain degree the kid did. I'm assuming it's a kid or a really grown man, which would be weird. No, but like I really like what the person did with it, and I was just like, this could work actually. I'm like, I commented on the thing, and I'm like, good job, kid, you actually did well. And it's like, it's probably not a kid, but that's how I speak sometimes to people. So yeah, I just hope a lot of you can understand, like, bullying and stuff really just sucks. But if you were bullied, there's nothing you can do about it. Don't really go out and shoot people for it, etc. But try to think of a better positive. Like I told Nick this, like when we first met, I was a social outcast, and I was always like, I'm gonna be super hyper with the next person I see, and it's like it's a horrible thing to do sometimes. But honestly, I'd rather shade away my sad, despisable area of my life and just like cover it with happy-go-lucky times, kind of like Yosuke Hanamura from Persona 4. And it's like, what? He wasn't like that. Kinda. By his like his crush dying and stuff in the TV world. And it's like, what? Oh yeah, like if you watch Persona 4 or know anything about Persona 4, you realize Yosuke is kind of like he covers his sadness with a happy-go-lucky attitude. And to be fair, sometimes it does work. It's actually a lot better than sometimes just coming out and saying what you want to say. But, I'm kind of a mix of both. I'm happy-go-lucky, but I'm also, like, spiteful and envious, and it's weird to explain. But, yeah, that's my little backstory. That's all I wanted to indulge for right now. If anything comes up throughout the days and stuff, I'll record them and put them on YouTube. But for right now, I think that's it. So, see you guys later.